Running back too early. Oh, has the ad even started? Would help if I actually moved my microphone near my face. Oh, the ad break starts now. Okay, never mind. The ad break was meant to have started 2 minutes ago, whilst I was AFK. No. Yeah, it's meant to be that the stream ads start within a minute, not 3. Hello, Izzy. Oh yeah, music's a thing. Make sure we at least have that going. Oop. Wiggle the camera a bit, make it a bit better. And that should be finished soon. Then we can begin. Not that there are plans, it's literally going to be me scribbling again. Oh, I have actually just noticed one thing I hadn't seen before. I need to make sure the captions are in front of the stream avatars. Make sure I drop stream avatars down there. Under the closed captions. And hopefully, when my little wobbly goes past, we'll still actually be able to read what I'm saying. Yep, we should be back now. The ads are over. Why must you attack me like this? Alright, let's see. That is not a pen. Just a bit of loose bit of sketching to start the day, well, to start the evening with. One of these days, I'll actually, be sensible and do like still life and stuff like that. You actually, put some real effort into learning all this stuff rather than doing it via scribbles. Oh, no, that was the wrong button to click. I do not want to open an internet browser. Yeah, 12. Well, I say 12 minutes. For 3 minutes of that, we weren't doing anything. But yeah, that's a fair bit of warm up, maybe. Maybe do a bit more. See what else was there that I know was good for warm ups. I know there's the whole thing about like doing a line and then trying to like copy the line again over the top of it to try and help increase accuracy. Of course, it works better on actual paper rather than a computer because otherwise it starts going like this. And it's for similar reasoning. We've mentioned in like a previous stream how like most art is done via that line, that line, or that line. Everything is made up of these. With two of those lines, one of those, and then two over that side, you made a cylinder. And two of these opposite each other with some curves, you have a vase, etc., etc. And we have mentioned in the past that one of the things that people need to remember is that everyone can draw because everyone can write. If you can write your name, you can draw. Because there's no difference between making a line to do an, say you draw a very basic anime eye, all that is a symbol. But if you can draw, you know, the letter Q and have it look like a letter Q or an R or a T or anything like that, all it is a practiced motion. And so if you can apply the fact that it's I, S, and C lines constantly through everything, you will be able to draw. It's just going to take some extra time because you did also spend like probably a good 3 or 4 years of your life being drilled constantly every day you went to school on drawing and a D, drawing an E. So much so we had it in our kids' TV programs with like a magical hand that just draws letters and freaks children out because they think the hand is moving on its own. But that's a different question. That's a different matter entirely. But if we had programs like that were, you know, constantly drilling kids on drawing, we'd have an entire nation of people that could draw. But no, it's focused on the writing, which I suppose, granted, is a much more useful skill in the majority of people's lives. Yes, you can, Ezzy, shut up. You were listening to everything I just said for the past 5 minutes. If you can do this, you can draw. Shut up. The only people who I can probably say for definite are gonna, when they say are bad at drawing, actually probably are those that have issues with coordination because of like muscular degeneration and stuff like that. Anyone that just says, "Oh, I can't draw," and they are perfectly healthy, are lying about not being able to draw. It's just they haven't tried. There are people out there that don't have hands that can draw, and so if they can do it, why can't you? The difference is they want to do it, and therefore they have learned a way to do it. But everyone is capable of drawing. It, it's whether or not you actually want to. That's the difference. But there's another example. If you have the hand-eye coordination to play computer games, you can probably draw if you actually, you know, try. Because it is just hand-eye coordination that's being used. You're looking at a, in this case, I am looking at a blue screen with some things on it, and I have a hand. My hand looks, I look at it, I move my hand in what, according to my eyes, is a rough circle, and then I go, boop, and we have a rough circle. Granted, if you're not very good, it might look a little bit like wobbly. It might look a bit more like a potato than a circle. But if you keep trying, you will eventually make a circle. I was talking to Ace. It was yesterday whilst we were messing around with the Minecraft server, or possibly the day before. I can't remember now. And he was saying, he wants me to give him my art skills as though I'm actually good. But he can animate really well, which is a thing he's had to learn. And I reckon that, with the fact that he can animate really well and he knows what he's doing with like spatial awareness and stuff, if he sits down and learns, Ace could be really fucking good. The difference, like I said earlier, a bit ago, is whether or not he actually wants to do it and whether he can find the time. Obviously, we all have lives. We all have we've got day jobs to deal with and hobbies and family and all manner of other things that we have to deal with. Ace do be doing Ace things. He's currently working on Woody's new model. And I would kill him to get his live 2D animating skills. And again, the reverse has happened there. I didn't put much effort into learning. I've got to admit. All I ended up doing was making sure that the model could move and look okay. I had wanted to like do physics and stuff for this, so that moving the hair would have like the little flick at the end when gravity would affect it and that. But I just it didn't interest me enough to make me want to sit there and learn how to do it properly and make it look good. Because whilst I am aware I could probably make a good bit of money off Live 2D, and I could quit my day job and all that, would I really want to spend all my time doing Live 2D even if I was getting paid for it? And the answer is no. There is a reason why I keep joking about, how much I hate rigging, and I would rather not be rigging whenever I was rigging. But that's it. Everyone who has started to draw, not even draw, anyone who's ever learned a skill, has started off doing the bare minimum. Anyone who you ever see who does like photorealistic looking drawings started off learning how to make a line do what they wanted it to do. And then they practiced and practiced until they could make hyper realistic stuff that I personally don't see the point of, because we have printers. If I wanted a photorealistic photo, I would print a photo. But there is no denying that there is skill being able to recreate it as a human and not a printer. And the same for like anyone that's like drawn like whenever you've seen like really cool images that are not AI generated, because of God knows there's too much of that about. Look for the hands. There's always an extra finger. There's always an extra finger. AI can't do hands, just like humans, because humans suck at hands too. I know I do. Yeah, everyone that you know, you've ever like gone online and gone, oh my god, that bit of artwork is amazing. Whether it be furry art, anime art, character designs, whatever. If you've ever looked at it and gone, oh my god, that's amazing, that person that drew that has gone through the pain of learning, which you could also do. The difference is they've done it and got through most of it. But with art, I know that a lot of like the bigger people that I know who do art are the kind of people that are like, oh, you never stop learning. There's always something new to learn how to do better. But they've like mastered the fundamental bits that let them just like sit down and in 2 hours crack out a beautiful piece. Whereas with me, I've spent 20 minutes just drawing this and babbling. Yeah, one of the whole reasons I like doing the art stuff on stream is I want more people to try drawing. Because even if you don't think you're that good, if at the end of the day it like helps relax you, helps take your mind off things, even if you suck, it was a worthwhile exercise if it helped de-stress you. As in chat, just admiring some balls as normal. Typical fanboy behavior. It's cheaper. Yay! Yeah, I figured the server just completely just fell over itself. It did its usual. Ah, it's time for the twice daily restart of the server, and then it just didn't come back. Yeah, just to add to the meme. Fun fact: this was actually Ez's Halloween costume. Sexy Among Us. I mean, if someone hasn't done a sexy Among Us costume, then I mean, I cannot be the first person to think of Among Us in fishnets. I refuse to believe that I'm the first person that drew this as a joke. I also refuse to believe I'm that someone hasn't drawn this as a serious. And yet we are doing figures again because there's a thing I want to draw which involves me drawing figures. Because I want to draw something. Let's see if I can pull the pose out of my head. Of roughly what I'm aiming for. And then just imagine some legs there. Yeah, it's a terrible sketch. And only one person other than me is going to have any idea what this is meant to be. But that's fine. Maybe two if Marla's here, but I don't know. I think Marla's probably off doing something else right now. Like being a nerd. But yeah, so I want to get to a point where even if I can only get like a basic sketch of a body done over like in roughly the right area, like the roughly the right proportions, the right pose, without me having to literally go to the like there is a thing in Clip Studio where you can just have 3D people that you can control and use it and just trace over essentially. I assume it's there really for like people that are doing like um comics and whatnot. You have to do stuff quickly. Yeah, Clip Studio has this wonderful thing where you can have a person, you can do the things, you can twizzle their body, you can move their legs and put them into whatever pose you're after for whatever you need. So I don't want to have to use this to be able to get to a point where I can, yeah, I can actually draw things. I don't want to have to rely on these 3D models because I have in the past. Fine, I will drink. I need to refill my drink actually. I need to update my redeems at some point because the posture check. I don't. Once I'm in a posture, I don't move. My body just sticks in the same thing. So like my posture has been the same for the past 37 minutes. I haven't shifted around in any way. Hydrate I'm keeping because I don't drink enough and I need to have people remind me to make me drink. Yeah, let's oof that out of existence and get back to actually, doing good stuff instead of just like more random off the cuff scribbles rather than scribbles that are trying to make me learn better. Like that, and I understand that there is a giant red Among Us on the screen at the same time. Ignore the Among Us. You know, this one, I'm actually happy with how that came, considering it started off as a weird bucket and then had bits tweaked. To me, that's actually a weird that pose is more than I normally would try. Normally whenever I do poses, they always end up being the same bit where change my pen color back. It's always the same pose where it's like the same 3/4 facing, the same sort of like shape of the one. Maybe not the same shape as the legs because that went a bit on the thick side. But it's always like the same, like 3/4 view. It's the same like body being slightly off to the back, and it is all well and good. I can get really good at making one pose, and then no one will care because it's always the same pose. So the fact that I mean, it could just be it's basically the mirror image of what I've already done because I've done it that often. I just do it without really thinking about it. Whereas this one in the middle, I started out by having a really weird angle for that pelvis and took it from there and actually made a relatively dynamic pose out of nowhere, which I'm usually really bad at. Which also goes to show I am improving. So, if people are, trying to learn, maybe not from me, but if you're actually, just still trying to learn on your own time, make sure you pay attention to your little victories. Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at the weird, sketchy ribbons. I can make tentacles look kind of 3D for no reason. I'm not planning on using that for future commission endeavors or anything. Considering I'm not very good at shadows, Okay, this top one, I went a little bit overboard. It probably should have been, sort of like more like that than anything. But this bottom sphere is pretty decent. The box is pretty decent. The cylinder, again a bit overboard, but it's better than what I normally do when I try these things. And that's one of the hard parts about when you're learning from home and you are the one teaching yourself based on other things and you don't have someone to go, you got that wrong, or, oh, that's really good, you did that bit really well. You need to do that for yourself, otherwise you're going to get, like, depressed as hell. It's something I have not done up until recently. But if you're drawing stuff and you do something better than you normally do, take a moment for yourself to go, oh my god, I actually did that pretty well. Like I took that moment to go, I'm pretty proud with how that turned out, considering I'm not professional. Another thing to get used to drawing is the bean. If you take a torso and a pelvis, it's a bean shape. If you want a weird looking cartoony nose, it's a bean shape with some bits on it. Some weird droopy eyes. They're bean shapes. Get used to drawing beans. I have actually got somewhere I have a canvas that is literally 100 beans a day. So I had got my canvas split into a 10 by 10 like this, and in every single one, I went onto the Line of Action website for the figure drawing. I put it on for 30 seconds for each photo, and in that 30 seconds, I turned the figure that was on the screen into a bean. And did that every day for, like, I think about a month. Let's see, it was 100 times 30 seconds. So just under an hour a day, like 50 minutes. of just doing this. Although, granted, they didn't always take 30 seconds. Some of them were very quick to draw. It was more like 15 seconds to look at it and try and work out what was going on, and then another 15 seconds to draw the bean in the right shape and the right angles. So that you could look at it and understand the shape of the torso and the pelvis in relation to each other. That one's a Proco exercise. Very good. Highly recommend. It starts off with the Robo Bean, which is doing the same thing but more like boxes. So you draw your figure like that. And then the next step was you did the exact same thing but as a more organic shape. Yeah. I'd recommend the Proco exercises. I think I actually mentioned him in one of the art ones. Was it Monday? Monday? Last Sunday? Sometime in the past week, maybe a bit over. He's one of the art channels that I do go back to when there's something that's like burning my brain. I'm like, I've forgotten how to do this. I will check Proco. I will check Mark Burnett. They're the ones that are like really good with the fundamental stuff. Schaefer Art and Psychra are very good at the more sort of thinky aspects of it, like, you know, why are you trying to learn it, and what methods can you use to improve in, yeah, like how can you go about studying in a way that makes the most of your time. Because Proco and Mark Burnett, as wonderful as they are, they give you the exercise and that's it. Do the exercise and you'll be golden. But sometimes you need to understand why you're doing the exercise, or it's just a waste of time. That's why, you know, I like the Psychra and Schaefer, because they go into more of that. Like they teach you how to like do certain things in certain ways. Like, I know that one of the ones I've gone back to a lot is the iterative drawing, where, you know, you have like a thing you want to draw it once, then draw it again, and then draw it again, and then draw it again. The exact same thing over and over again, but each time try and, you know, in between each drawing, look at your first one and go, well, okay, you know, I was trying to draw a boiled egg, you know, with the top cracked off, and it was all lovely and it was running and whatever. And you look in the front and go, okay, so the egg is a bit misshapen here. I didn't do that properly. In the next one, try and fix that error. Do it again. Then, at the end of that one, look back and go, okay, how close is it to the thing I was trying to draw? What's the errors? Oh, okay, this bit's a bit wrong. On the next one, you do it again, and you try and keep in mind the errors you have done in the previous two, and so on. And eventually, you will be able to make something that looks right. It doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to look right. And the more you do it, the fewer iterations between you're going to need before you can do something that looks good. And obviously, more complex things will take more versions to go through anyway. But this is the whole point of learning. But that's one video I know that I go back to every now and then just to like refresh myself on it. And there are some times when I visit someone who does also stream on Twitch, who I highly recommend, Mikey Mega Mega, because boy does he draw some pretty girls. So if ever I'm like there's been a couple of times when I've been commissioned to draw someone's character, and I'm like, I am not good at drawing good looking hips. Oh, Mikey's got a video for that on YouTube. And he goes through the exact steps of how to make a very nice looking set of hips for a character, or how to make a nice looking torso or nice looking legs. And he breaks it all down into parts so that if you just need to learn one specific thing, you can look at his like 15-20 minute video, see a few different versions of it, and kind of grasp at least how to go about trying to do it yourself. Highly recommend him just because he's just really good at drawing. It just looks really nice. And of course, like I say, he does stream on Twitch. He does art and he does games. But he does both. Well, he does the art better than me, that's for sure. Oh, it's Ace Panini. I will drink. You are the Panini. Ace Panini Beanie. Speaking of beans, there's this weird thing we have over in England and the UK. It's called a sandwich press. But it's not one of your normal, like, George Foreman grills where both of the sides are flat. No, 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 no. They're more like they're shaped. So you put your slice of bread in, you put some filling in, and another piece of bread on top, and then you close it. And what it does is it will actually form a pocket of the using the bread. So it will heat the outside of the bread enough on the edges to seal them together and seal your filling inside the sandwich. I don't understand why it was invented. It is a really cool idea because you can, like, if you like say I like paninis and stuff like that. The problem is when you press them together, the filling leaks from the side. But we've had over stuff. It's a mess. Or if you put too much stuff that's liquidy in there, it's a mess. But like most of the time when I've had like paninis or like toasted sandwiches and stuff that you get from like stores, it is like a baguette that's basically flattened with heat. Delicious, but stuff falls out the side. But these weird like sandwich press things that we have over here, they fix that by sealing the outside. The only problem is, depending on what filling you choose, it essentially turns it into a small thermonuclear warhead that you're about to bite into. And one of the go-to ones I know I used to have as a kid was beans and cheese. You would drain it like most of the sauce from the baked beans. Otherwise, it would just like be mushy and not good. And put some good cheese in there, toast it. It's wonderful. But if you try eating it straight from the thing, you melt your face because you take a bite and suddenly all of that steam that was trapped in there has found a new hole, and that hole is pointing at your face. So suddenly you get bean steam in your face, and it's quite painful. But yeah, bean and cheese toasty or tuna and cheese toasty, absolutely amazing with these things. And the best thing is they were like 10 quid each for these presses. Oh god, what could bean steam be actual slang for? It's just a really rank fart. Oh man, he let off the fucking bean steam. Oh Jesus Christ, who did that? The fucking beans. Who bean steamed? Fucking hell. It's the best I've got. I mean, it's not quite the Yeah, it probably was cheaper to be honest. But it was not quite the level of slang as the thing that Sheepa heard the other day. That I think I understand it vaguely. And it's even weirder because it has the term skibbity in the phrase. I think Sheep has mentioned it like 2 or 3 times on his stream, so I'm not going to say it again. He can type it out in chat if he wants to, but I'm not going to. But yeah, as the stream title mentions, I've been doing this shit for a fucking year now, and it's weird. I don't I feel like I've been doing it for like a couple of months tops. Thank you, Ace. But it does just feels really really weird. Oh, I'm not in this for clout. I mean, I'm actually quite amazed that I've got the number of followers that I have as is within a year. I know there are some people that like keep saying that, oh yes, I was streamed for like a month and I got 1,000 followers. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing, but we how filthy were you? You know, were you the kind of person that had a really filthy looking model, or were you just a pervert, or what? Because a lot of the times, when the people that have got all of these followers so quickly, a bunch of them that I know who had that. There's a couple that doesn't apply to, but a lot of them are not like family friendly streamers. And so there's a part of me in my head like, why did you get that many followers? And how many of them are still here? And how many of them are still here because you keep being filthy and lewd? It's one reason why I try and keep my streams at least like mildly, not so much family friendly because it's still meant to be 18 plus, so that people don't have to like worry about anything in here. But I don't go out of my way to be filthy. Yeah, I might make a boob joke every now and then when I'm drawing a boob. But when I'm streaming on my own, I tend to, try and keep it chill. Yeah, so it's a nice, calm, relaxing place where everyone that doesn't give a damn about sex can turn up and go, oh, well, that's wonderful. Because the irony is, whilst I love looking at, the kind of art that I would like to draw, I don't want any of that for me. No, God no. Effort involves having like self confidence and all manner of things. But yeah, I would much rather have a pizza than sex. Thank you very much. Because I mean, especially I'm going to tell you that I hope you're sitting down for this. But have you ever heard of this thing called lasagna? I mean, if you think sex is good, oh, you should try lasagna. Fucking hell, lasagna is amazing. Just have some lasagna. Forget the sex. I love that that was also hidden behind what appears to be an ad break. So chances are, no one apart from the couple of people that sub to me are going to have ever heard that. And we're back from the ad break. and by accident, we've drawn this figure in the right place to make them have absolutely luscious locks. You should stream more often though, Ace. Teach people how to live 2D. So the idiots like me have someone they can watch to try and get better, doing what they do. At some point, I actually need to sit down and do like an anatomy study. Could be a stream at some point doing one of those. Oh god, I've forgotten the fancy French term for them. I think it begins with D. It's when you do a body sculpture where you do the muscles. Not découpage. There's some weird French name for it. I don't remember what it is. But essentially, you do a 3D sculpt as an as an anatomy study, because it helps you kind of like actually see, what the difference is when you turn a leg around, what those muscles do, or at least what sort of angles they're at. For example, like if you're doing a leg like this, there is a big muscle on the top, there's a muscle on the back, and then there's kind of like a weird like side muscle that I think goes up and around like this, if I remember right. Don't quote me. I'm not a biologist or an anatomist or an artist. But then you've got like the kneecap, which is what this little tiny like line here indicates. Because the kneecap sort of sits up here, which pushes the skin and the muscles a certain way. So, the fact that you've got a big fat muscle here that goes on the back of the leg, and then a really thin one at the front. Knowing how they are, where they sit, if you're doing a slightly chubbier model, or someone that doesn't have a lot of muscle, you don't have to worry. But if you ever want to do like a really really like buff character, like if you ever want to draw Balbo from the Adventures of Balbo, which you should go and see on W Sheeper stream and Ginger Snafu streams and Finn streams when they do the next Shadow Wizard Money Gang run. But Balbo is going to be a little bit muscly for a mage. So if you're going to draw them, you need to know where the muscles are, otherwise you can't draw the muscly bit. At least not in a way that doesn't look stupid. Yeah, because we all know, like, with arms, there's, like, you have an arm, you have a one muscle, and you have another muscle, and then you have an elbow. But then there's like other sort of like secondary muscles that like help link the shoulder to the back of the arm and various other weird bits that can influence the shape of the arm or the back or the chest or whatever bit you're working on. So yeah, I do know that I need to do more anatomy stuff at some point. And I always hate that I always think about the next thing I need to learn whilst I'm in the middle of learning something else. You know, last week we were just working on some like generic fundamentals, and I was talking about how I need to work more on my figures. This week we're working more on my figures, and I've already planned that I need to start doing some work on anatomy, but I haven't finished figures yet. I never will, but I need to get to a point where I'm at least happy with the figures before I start going, well, okay, let's take this figure because it's a decent looking figure. You know, we know that there are abs. There's going to be abs that sort of like sit around here. There's the obliques that go around the outside. There's how's it go now? I think it's like I think I think they go in that direction. Like the chest muscles, and they go sort of like underneath the arm a little bit, and then this bit doesn't really have muscle because it's just skin and then organs. There's obviously a little bit of muscle because I think it carries on a little bit from the six pack from the abdominals, but it's not usually visible on most people. You've got let's say that you've got the big muscles on the leg and so on. But all of that I just did, I don't know if it's accurate. In fact, I can guarantee it's probably not accurate at all, apart from I named a couple of groups and put them in roughly the right place. Which, like I say, is the reason why, at some point, possibly within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to sit down and go through a couple of like the anatomy videos that I've watched before and that have helped. And I've got a couple of books on it as well that I might just sit there and stare at and try and absorb as much as I can. And again, like I say, at some point, doing that whole sculpting thing might be quite fun. I mean, I have polymer clay. Somewhere I have clay toolkit stuff. I mean, I'd probably have to work out a way of making the muscles. You'd need to flatten them and then make the muscles striated. So I'd maybe need to like make a little wire brush or something. You have to make the stripes on the muscles. Well, it's doable, with a stick and some tape and some glue or whatever. It's doable. I mean, I've got some small bits of like strong wire, some millinery wire for using hat stuff. So could be done. And like I say, it might be a fun sort of like IRL camera stream, not to see me obviously, but to kind of like what I did with the hurdy-gurdy craft, where you just see my hands. But yeah, that could be a fun thing to do at some point. But yeah, my brain is dying slowly. So I know it was a relatively short stream, but and I know that most of it was talking, but I at least did enough to count the fact that I have done art practice today. Yeah, it wasn't exactly focused. Although it kind of was, but the top bit was just the warm ups for like the first 10 minutes. Then we did some more figures without reference. And that was an important one because, being able to pull this out of your brain and make it make sense is a good skill to have as well. But let's see. Who be online? Why is it always Stars that's the only person online at this time of night on a Sunday? It's always Stars. Oh, well, I suppose we're going to raid them again. But yeah, as always, let me let the music out. As always, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you everyone for the past year. Yeah, I did not think I would actually have like 2 viewers at this point every year, and yet I think I'm averaging like 4 to 5 people a stream. Granted, some of those could be bots. I don't know. Could never tell with Twitch, but still, it's like twice as many people as I expected, and about twice as many followers as I was expecting. I think I've had in my notes that if I could hit 75 followers by the end of the first year, I would call it a win. And I'm like one shy of 150. So I have got double what I expected at this point. And I know that a lot of it has come off the fact that, I just happen to know some other people, who also stream. Ace, Sheeper, Ginger, all those. And a lot of the communities end up getting shared. And so if it wasn't for for meeting all you guys, I probably wouldn't have anywhere as close to the people I have now. I would be just another like person getting one bot view every day when I streamed with 2 followers. So yeah, I thank you enough for that, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional because don't do emotions here. It's calm, it's peaceful, it's safe. There's no emotions. We shoot them at the door. They cannot come in. They're not allowed. But yeah, before I start rambling, again, thank you all for watching for this stream and the past year. Here's to another year, I guess. Maybe next year I'll actually plan something for the anniversary instead of just having an hour of me rambling and sketching. But we'll find out in a year's time. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye. And I forgot to click the ready raid button, so I look like a fool for a little while. Bye.